Hello, my name is Tori Peck, and I'm excited to be on this edition of Farmer's Corner for the center. Now, I was a graduate research assistant for the CHP from 2020 to 2022 while I was getting my master's in public history from Middle Tennessee State University. One of the projects I worked on while at the center was working with Becknob Cemetery, which was actually the first designated burial site for African Americans in Chattanooga. Now, with Becknob Cemetery, I worked on a National Register nomination for the cemetery, as well as a preservation plan for the community that takes care of the cemetery. A different project I got to work on was the B'nai Israel Temple Project. And now the B'nai Israel Temple Project was in a couple of parts. One was the creation of an adaptive reuse study for the temple to see what it could be reused for to help preserve the building and its history and heritage, but also in a way that was meaningful and useful and sustainable for the city of Butte. And so that study ultimated in the second part of the project, which was the creation of the B'nai Israel Cultural Center, which was a cultural heritage space that celebrated the history and heritage of all the different community groups that made up Butte, Montana, and not just the Jewish heritage group. And so something important I learned from both of those projects was kind of just the entire methodology that the CHP is based around, and that is that boots on the ground style of community-based historic preservation. And that work in that community, working with different communities and that thought process is something I was able to take with me and outside of grad school and into my professional career. Currently, I am a curator with the state of North Carolina, and I work at a site called the Museum of the Cape Fear Historical Complex, located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now, the complex is made up of three parts. The first is 2 stories of a traditional history museum that covers the history of the southern 20 counties of North Carolina. Then there is the 1897 Poe House, which is a Victorian home. And then third is the archaeological remains of the Fayetteville Arsenal, located in Arsenal Park. And now my main position is working with that Victorian home, which I've actually got a photo of here. And now the 1897 Poe House belonged to a man named Edgar Allan Poe, who was a brickmaker here in Fayetteville and no relation to the famous poet. And so I do everything from collections management, general upkeep, exhibits to events, programming, and community outreach, all related to the Poe House and for the community here. When I do my work, I take with me everything that I've learned from the center. I was able to work on such a vast variety of projects with everything that came from, again, the National Register nominations to exhibit work to like physical preservation. And I bring all of that with me and use that with my current job today. I just want to say that I am so thankful that I was able to be a part of such an important organization, and I look forward to seeing the continued work that the center will keep on doing.